Hey guys, I've been having quite a bit of fun with Age of Apes while I've just been needing some downtime and something nice and simple to relax to. One of the favourite ones I'm going to go through today is Fortress Takeover. To keep it simple to start with, I'm just going to go through Fortress Looter since these are nice and easy. I like to use this as a kind of go tied to the bigger game. I like to use this as a bit of a bank. So usually, I find if I retaliate against people, it just ends up in a loop with us retaliating against each other. So usually I'll only retaliate against somebody if I've not got any resources, so hence it being a bank. I'm also sure that, I've used all my chances that this isn't a very good demo, is it? I'll demo it straight in the other stuff, I guess. But yeah, I use this when I'm out of resources, especially because then if they try and counter me when I've not got retaliate against me when I've not got resources, I kind of hope that means they don't get any. I'm not quite sure on that one, but anyway, we'll have a quick go on this level. So what am I at? 806. So just have a quick scan on this. So always have to work out, how much kind of power is coming out of the building. So there's no factories are worth double, but generally speaking, the number of troops that come out of the building are simply related to how many lines there are. So if you've got two connections, that does 2 times the number of troops. If you have a max level versus a level 1, both sending one line at each other, I've not noticed that the max really helps. If you don't use the lanes, it doesn't help you. Maxing, of course, is brilliant for allowing troops to flow through and kind of concentrate them in one place. I doubt we'll get to that in this little game, but I'm sure we'll come to it. So I'm just kind of looking at this and saying, right, I've got 6, they've got 8. So I'm essentially set up here to lose. They're more powerful and more powerful of a position. So I've got to, as quickly as possible, get up to 8. So I'm just going to look at it here. So one thing I'll observe is I'm only at, say, 2 or 3 on these. So it's not like I'm going to be able to level them up quickly, because you get the first one at 10 and you get the second one at 30. So what that basically means is, in order to level the playing field, I've got to knock one of these out as fast as I can. So usually the kind of computer's not very good. It'll say send everyone on the attack or reinforce, but there's usually one that's not getting anything to it. So what I find is effective is just concentrate. Everybody, you can see that it's only going out, so I'll just kind of concentrate everybody onto that. Then try and save myself. This is probably not going to go very well. You could say I've pretty much just floundered. It takes me a few attempts usually to get. I've not even got my fighters charged up. Well, okay, let's kind of get. So this is where I just kind of have to experiment. So I'll say concentrate 2 on there, and then just try and reinforce it. I didn't work. Okay, so it seems like I'm more realistically able to level them up than I am take them out. So I guess I'm just got to adjust my strategy to that one. So both of them. Oh yeah, that's not. So I'm going to go in this way, and as soon as this one's leveled up, I shall do that. This is kind of how I roll with a lot of them, is you kind of do it in a square like this, where they can all reinforce each other. Whether that works or not depends on how much they have. Like this guy over here is facing down too, so he's going to be struggling. You just got to hold out until you kind of max something. This is always probably what happens. I try and avoid using Oscar because it does kind of fit, at least to me, just feels like cheating. It's just negates the fun of the strategy. There we go. That one's going. So that's what I say. So you want to maximise as many lines just going all over the place as possible, because the more lines, the more troops. So you see now things will start going through the max and just flow in. As an easy one.
Awesome.
That was quite a simple one after a few tries. Yeah, and what I've found in these is if you've got a lot of people on the map, a lot of different computer players, stick to the edges. Because if you're in the middle, people are going to be attacking you from both sides. Whereas if you're on the edge and there's computers in the middle and the edge, they're going to be fighting each other a lot more, so that lets you get it in. But the important thing as well on these maps is to work out what the kind of the win condition is. So there are 10 buildings on this map of all the same type. So that basically means your victory condition is you've got to get 5 or 6. And then the rest will just kind of naturally flow. But if they get 6 to your 4, unless something weird happens, you're just playing for time at that point. So usually I find you have to be very aggressive early, especially on these middle parts. It's a lot faster to capture these than it is to try and level up. So the first thing I'll try and do is grab those, that gives me some resources. These will level up, so then I can just start grabbing these middle ones that I need. And also I start trying to identify who I think is going to win. Got to kind of reverse all these around to reinforce the old ones. So yeah, but this to me is then essentially a win. All I have to do, I've got some attack vectors onto these guys, and I just basically have to keep joining up the dots wherever I can. And I know that once everything's hit that max point where the numbers start flowing through, as long as I've not kind of left anything unreinforced, this will all just kind of flow. Like I don't even need any of these, what I consider cheats. So I hit that on 2 times, and you can see some of them will gradually start declining. So 35, 45. Sometimes it can take a little while, and I get bored, and I do use these. But as soon as one of these go, that kind of balance of power tips so much that the others start falling like dominoes. There you go. One thing I can find that's useful is actually to get rid of some of these lines for a little while, because then that kind of funnel, I'll probably hopefully show that a little later, because then, so especially if you're in like a very evenly balanced situation, like let's say I had 5e5, I found the only way out of that kind of even setup is to funnel everything into one place. So you essentially take the hit, but it's kind of spread out against a few, so you don't lose any stations, whereas they lose all of theirs. So this is an interesting one. I can all notice that there's going to be a problem with them supporting this. Yeah, similar scenario to the last one, really. You've basically got to take these 4 over before, well, they've got a chance to kind of level them up and even the playing field. Because if we have 6, we've won. So that's a quite easy strategy. Just go for that. Might have to switch to these. You have to switch to these ones at the back that they're not reinforcing. I've not done a very good job at targeting the unreinforced ones here. So you can see I've pretty much lost by this point because I've not taken any of them out. So this time I shall just change my targeting to go straight across. There we go, that went better. So I've got to take. So I think win condition wise, yeah, you've got to take what, like take 6, get to 6, because I'm still losing here. They're leveling up. I'm losing ground. So I'm desperately trying to get at least that one, and then we'll be even. I'll just start reinforcing these. So Darcy will be just enough to help me. Yeah, see, I've lost that. I didn't get to the 5. I needed that 5. I should have moved these lines around a bit. One thing I do find helpful as well is not to try and save stations if I can help it, because for some reason when they downgrade they don't actually lose the active lanes, so it can be helpful to kind of stall. So yeah, now we're at 5, so this is even. Oh, that's not good. Darcy saved me. Sometimes, if I just want to get action points quickly, which is what this is very good at, I might use Oscar at this point. This is kind of where I'm going to try and focus on one, so wherever possible, I'm going to send all my lines kind of internally. I'm just going to get that kind of block, but hopefully I'll take this one out. Oh, I'm not sure if he's got more lanes, but I think there we go. I think I should just about be able to take them out. There we go. So that's kind of where I've been relatively even, but I just consciously chose not to do as much over there and to concentrate them. So now all I've got to do is hold out on this one, knowing that I've got the upper hand. What I find helpful defensively is go after the max ones, because that will essentially stop them almost like funneling through and concentrating on one area, because my only win condition right now is to keep what I've got, so I've got more than they have. So yes, as soon as this guy's leveled up, they will start falling like dominoes. Use these defensive, as soon as we get these kind of defensive lines to counter the incoming ones, it all goes a lot better, especially if when they are maxed. I've got a mutant one next, so I'll be able to demonstrate that. I've been finding them more and more tricky at this level. Take it when I leave the 2 times speed on. I don't want 2 times speed for this one. Right, and this actually looks a bit interesting. So start back to hate them 2 times speed. So again, this is all. So for here, this is why I'll use Oscar. But yeah, it's all about getting as many stations as quickly as possible. There we go. So no, I even have to like try and switch them out, especially when these mutants start coming. I need those arrows kind of in there. Eventually I'll then just go back and reinforce these. Need Darcy kind of in the early days. Basically, I found the only real win condition on these is you've got to get the ones at the front to like a max level, so they don't get overwhelmed. So you can see here that this is not looking good. That these are going to start falling like dominoes, but eventually they run out of these gigantos. This is actually quite handy. This little tower. I've not had one with a tower before. Obviously, you have to be quite careful not to send too many units through it, otherwise they essentially just get wasted. Because once that's maxed, there we go, just try and make sure, let's see what's where. You see, they're kind of running out now, so I find I do have to use... Eventually you could do this without using Oscar, but I don't want to carry on for that long. Yeah, so then it's just a case of got to get everything up to max in order to drain it. So it's just trying to get as many connecting lines. So there we go, go back to that and that. I try and make things go towards the Gigantor as much as possible, because I want things to be flowing through, rather than if you send them backwards you essentially lose time, because they're going to be upgrading the buildings instead of attacking where you want them to go. So fortunately I couldn't show the that's especially true in Fortress Looter if you're getting someone that's a higher level than you. the real key there is send everything forwards, because if you waste time upgrading buildings beyond, say, you know, the level 30 to get 3 channels, that's what the difference between that and max is, another 30. So if you do that 5 times, yeah, that starts adding up fast. Right, let's see if there's anything different here. So yeah, I find on these, again, you have to be very aggressive. Run condition is this middle line, straight down the middle. So I want to get to there as fast as I can. And then I'll hit my win condition. So it's going to be straight over to the right. And I'm going to battle for these middle ones like my life depends on it. I should have switched that one earlier. Hold it. See, like there, that's kind of where it's a lot faster to upgrade a 1 to a 2. So it's worth kind of switching them around, because getting the third one takes a lot longer. Thankfully, the computer did not detect the back one, so I should. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I've got the win condition now, as long as these all hold. Just redistribute them always to make sure everything's being reinforced by somewhere else. There we go. Sometimes you kind of rework it so that you get as many lines coming out as you can, because some are blocked, so you kind of have to reverse the flow in order to find where they can go. Like this guy. Ooh, that guy's got no problem. There we go. So make this one stronger. Just slow that one down. Relax, so he's not going to destroy this. So if anything other than a max, so these are just going to be equal. So you can see now that they're both just kind of meeting in the middle. I don't know, sometimes I seem to like see them making a slight advantage. I don't know if there's just some randomness, but there we go, and that's gone.
Awesome!
Okay, so these are interesting, where there's a lot of people. So again, this is where sometimes you get spawned in the middle, so it'll be interesting to, hopefully, with the next few, get one of those. But yes, go for the weaklings, take advantage of the weakling, work from the edges in, but certainly on these, making sure to keep an eye on which one's coming out on top. Because if somebody gets to that kind of critical number of buildings before you do, that's usually KO, so I tend to just go a bit of a split between attacking the weakest and attacking the strongest. So see here, go for the bottom edge as soon as you can. Keep trying to like drag it over. There we go, because you can essentially consolidate it just as soon as you've got one. There you go. Always set up that if you have to try and set that defensive one up. So see here, kind of Cyan's got no one's really taking a lead, so I'm gonna just go for that kind of greedy approach. But you can see here, look, Red's attacking Cyan, Cyan's attacking Red, so these aren't really being very much of a threat against me. So I can just start chipping away before taking them all on. Whereas if you kind of go into the middle, as you kind of see, yeah, they'll all start attacking you because they all want to go to the middle. So let's hope we get a better example. I'm just going to use Oscar to speed through this because I'm essentially one, so I'm happy with that. My sense of honour is intact.
Awesome!
Happy to? Yeah, so here's one, like I said, I'm not quite in the middle, but I'd certainly say here, I'm going to go and attack orange and kind of work my way left to right, because again, if I go straight for the middle, I'm just going to get surrounded and ganged up on. So straight for orange, who thankfully is not paying attention. And for red. So yeah, new buildings, first priority. Leveling them up comes second. Unless you're being attacked, because you don't want to lose buildings. Yeah, so now I'll start just kind of reinforcing things. Not that they can reach them anyway, but it will make things come out faster. And this is just kind of KO again. So yeah, as soon as any of these get to max, so what I'll do is I'm going to send concentrate everyone into this one. So I want them to go towards the maxes, so then this will start getting them a lot faster, right? Whereas these over on the right, they're just upgrading the station. Okay, now they're going, so that's sped up. So yeah, that's how I speed up the kills. Yeah, here we go. This is the one I wanted to kind of demonstrate. So I'm in the middle. I find this is just, yeah, if you stay in the middle, you're done. So the general aim is get to one side as fast as you can, ignore the other one, and kind of hope that... I mean, if I take one side while these others are still fighting, you then still can just pick one off. There we go, so that's one. This is actually quite an easy one, but the principle essentially applies, especially when it gets stuck like this. It just goes a bit weird. So yeah, then your wing condition becomes fortifying these middle ones as fast as possible, because on the harder ones they will hit, and it's taken me quite a few attempts. Get these in many places. Yeah, so once you've got them surrounded on more sides, then they can kind of counter-attack. They go down.
Awesome.
I kind of want to see an example. It's like holding out for an example like that that's a bit better. Oh yes, factories. Factories are double, so they go for 2 compared to the 1. So these are always the ones I go for first. They're also always the ones I use Darcy on, because you're essentially then doubling up something that's already 2 times as powerful, so the bonus goes further. So I'm absolutely going to go all in on the factory and then start moving out. As soon as I've got that upgraded to a triple, I'm going to use Darcy on it, because that's just so valuable. I actually feel a bit more confident about this one. I hate there's some of the mutants where you're just kind of in a giant ring, Gigantos where you're just kind of in a giant ring around it, and they're very difficult. You just got to get like the timing on reinforcing your buildings so on point. It's not very enjoyable for me. So I don't really. So you kind of lose some at the start, because so you really need to get them maxed in order to get enough to beat these flurries of Gigantos. See, these are all at max now, so I'm hoping kind of the counter effect. Yeah, so see, this one's now holding because it's at max. At the very least, the other ones, you know, if something gets taken, the Gigantos goes down with it as well. Sometimes they kind of almost like heal up and disappear for that reason as well. I'm not quite sure when or why. Ooh, this one's struggling. Oh, there we go, I just made it. Yeah, so I'm about to win this, so I'm going to need extra. It's a lot better if you can get to the front, because Gigantos tend to not die, because you've got to both kill the pilots that are coming in and the Gigantos a lot of the time. Oh, this is a bit... so yeah, if you get to right at the front, all you have to deal with is every hit goes to the Giganto instead of the pilot. I don't know that I've won this one. I didn't really get to the front fast enough at the start, because then I could have taken out more Gigantos. Yeah, I've lost that, so I'm going to have to go down. Maybe my all-in factory blitz was not the best idea, so let's mixed up this time. I'm going to go for the front. Oh, I hate it when I can't quite switch fast enough. So this is an execution issue. So what I guess with this strategy, you have to essentially get a lock. You want to take out all but 3 and you have to kind of get a lock on them. So you can see I'm targeting all 3, then I just come out with Oscar. So then it's an easy takedown. Again, it feels a bit like cheap, but for some of these difficult ones, I've got no choice. See, now I'm at the front a lot. They don't tend to always stand, but you can see they'll take down a lot more Gigantos before they get to them, because every hit counts. It also gives this backline more of a chance to upgrade, because the more I've got behind it that's flowing in, the more that's going to be going into the Gigantos. So this one's actually held up. Yeah. So I know I'm quite comfortable. You've essentially got 6 plus the factory all going in. They're all flowing to. Oh, that's what that one's not doing very well. Oh, come on, little dude. No. Speed up the factory. Help retake some of these. And there's only 3 Gigantos now, and I've held most of my spots, so I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, so now I'm just going to essentially mop up a couple of these. Let me take those, and there we go. Ooh, 46. So once you get to the max, they just ramp up and demolish them quite quickly. See what the next map's like. If not, I'll call it there. So the only real one that's quite different I do want to demonstrate is when you're in the middle in a much more difficult position. These ones I've generally felt quite easy so far.
Awesome!
Yeah, this is an easy one. I'm just going to hit pause, see if I get to a difficult one that I kind of want to demo. Just turn it back on actually. One thing I will, it's like if things are more difficult, pay attention to break the line before you actually capture the building. So I'm going to actually restart this one. So first of all, I'm going to kind of do this typical thing where I fight for the dominance defense of that one. Here I need 1, 2, as soon as that third, oh, I'll mess that, it's 4. Let's try that again. Win this one. There we go. Okay, so it's 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I can carry on. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it just gives you that slight edge to move faster. Because pilots can be taking a new little setup. So I don't know how I actually managed to win this one on the top right. I've got to really learn what. Do I have some kind of a slight advantage? Let's start trying to reinforce these. There we go, so that was another good one to demonstrate something. I used to get this piggy bank, but I think as you get later in the game, it's not as worth it. This is a strange one, so what? 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, so this is one where it's like the middle bits feels a bit like the death zone, so I just not yet work from the outside. Oh, there's a beautiful kind of target over here. Make sure you kind of work both ends a little bit so that somebody doesn't get too powerful. Like you can see, purple's getting a lot of the action. So I'll start gradually kind of chipping away in the middle as I capture more. But You can see I'm getting a lot more power faster by capturing lots of single factories than I am getting the double ones. Not factories, but just like the general bases, or what, I don't even know what they're called. You can see now I've got a lot more. This is now just, it's all about getting those numbers in that win condition, and then just get as many connections as you can, and they start falling. Once you get more and more, they start falling like dominoes.
Awesome!
It's very good for getting action points. See, it's another strange one. I don't know this. I found it in around 700. There were some really difficult ones that it threw you. So on this one, this is kind of a weird attack defensive one. So I want to get as many of these as I can, but I don't want to let them take these out easily either. So what? So go for the lowest numbers first. So I have to kind of work this. That even if they doubled up, I'm going to capture one of these before he takes one of mine out, because it's going to take them 5 hits. I only need 2, and then I can just turn around and retake whatever he's tried to take out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, then just kind of flip into that. Have to make sure they don't kind of sneakily chip off any of them. Oh, like he's doing just there. Slip in. That's fine, I didn't slip too many.
Awesome!
Oof, yeah, so here's another kind of race-ish one. I don't know what, I mean, I just have to kind of try, yeah. Sometimes I can kind of make the reinforcing circle if they're a higher level, but most likely I'm just going to take advantage of the AI leaving some of them vulnerable and unreinforced. So they're quite high levels, so I'm just going to try and click as fast as possible, and one of them's going to be weak. There we go, so here I'm going to switch to the one that's weak. Same over here. Nice mass on one side. It's all about kind of getting to that nice number quick, because I've got 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I've essentially won now. I've got more than they have. All I've got to do is hold. Which is why quite a lot of the time I use the likes of Darcy quite early, because it's all about getting that early advantage. Once they've leveled up, it's, and they're all kind of at max or 3 lanes, it's about who's got the most bases. Is there any tricks you want to play earlier in the game than that? Yeah.
Awesome!
I really hope I get the one I want to demonstrate where I'm in the middle. Oof. Yeah, see, this is a bit of a weird trick. I'm quite sure what I was expecting, but certainly I think this is going to be a challenging one. Yeah, so the dilemma here is, factories are very powerful, but at the same time, you've got to have enough just early. It takes too long to get them, and by the time you've done that, you've kind of fallen behind. So I'm going to hope I can take out the purple one here now. Oh, there we go. This is going to take me a few tries probably to work out what really the optimal thing is, because these factors are really hitting me. It's kind of a bit weird, because even then, so I've got to take the factors and I've got to do it fast enough. So that's what I'm probably going to have to work out exactly the optimal time to use the powers. You see, I'm only just kind of about even and I'm losing ground, so I can already tell I've not been fast enough. I'm still kind of competing with the pink. I think I need to go for factories a bit faster than I did, so I may need to purple and then grab a factory. That up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. It's very awkward, I find, to cancel them, because I want to kind of move to the one they're getting, so that I get... It's all about having, I guess, more power than the other person, just in the right spot. But I certainly just want to make sure that they don't get the factories, so then their power stays low. So if you fall behind like this, it's just... This is where I start. It's just kind of, you got to get that right, lucky timing. Certainly realise that, yeah, I mean, sometimes you just get lucky like this, but I was certainly, what I was going towards was that you've definitely got to get these factories on the right before yellow does. So what my plan will be is I find you can kind of let the Gigantos win on the first wave, and once they've occupied them, I just go and hit them with Oscar. Because I don't want to be fighting with pilots coming out as well, or at the very least I guess in this case I want... I'll just at least take down one Giganto. Is that factory even doing anything? Try and create like a defense. You've got to make sure that everything's kind of pointing out to get the dragon. I think I set my defensive perimeter up wrong, so you want to make sure that all arrows are heading towards where the Gigantos are coming from. Otherwise they'll just steamroll into you. So I think that was my mistake on that one, despite my very lucky start. Yeah, so you want to deny that factory. So I know I'm not going to take that, but I'm at least going... Oh, okay, I did take that. I at least can stop them getting it and kind of snowballing into an advantage. As soon as this is kind of where you need to get the early setup, so this Darcy comes in handy on the essential on these levels. Just then got to get everything pointing the right way. So that's why we try to get it. I have to keep practicing this because it's all as much as it's about the strategy. It's about the strategy. It's about just executing and clicking things fast enough. You know, you've got it like here. You've got there's an arrow that's not heading this way or this way. Use Oscar? Okay, I didn't. So all arrows heading that way because you want these to be maxed so that they can defend themselves. Ooh, that's not good. Lose too many of these, otherwise you then can't come back. Oh, like this guy needs help. Oh, there we go. So that survived. So essentially, you've got to like send reinforcements to the ones that are maxed so you can redirect them with Gigantos. Yeah, I think I've took a few tries, but I've gotten there. 39 seconds. So yeah, all arrows in the direction of the Giganto again, because I don't want to level this guy up. I want them to go towards the Giganto, so I'm going to change all those arrows to go that way. If there's nowhere else to go, it's fine, but... There we go.
Awesome!
So yeah, that was a more tricky Giganto level. Ooh, bombers. I find these are very powerful. That's just gonna say. Oh yeah, so these have got 25 on them, so I'm not going to try taking out their installations. I can capture a lot more using the huts before. Yeah, if they were like very low level, I would have attacked them, but. For some reason, the computer is deciding just to attack me, attack each other and the thing, so that should be a quick win. Okay, yeah. They got one little building over here. It's nice. There's a nice variety. They're always sort of quite, but the sort of principle's the same. It's, you know, where's the win condition? How do you ramp up your quote-unquote power as fast as possible? So this is certainly a weird one where I think I've got more power than they have, so it's just going to be kind of a rush for these middle areas. I don't know why I just said that. Once he's leveled up, I'll divert someone to reinforce him. There we go. You can use these to level your things up as well, so certainly I guess if you've got like a Giganto thing going on, that can be quite handy. Rather than attacking, you reinforce those kind of first ones on the front line, or you can go for the Gigantos as they come out. I'm really sure because I've not really had one of these in quite a while. There, again, that's down.
Awesome!
Oof. Yeah, so this is getting more interesting. So, as I said, we've had quite easy ones. So again, the question here is what level are these and what level are these? So if these are like 1s and 2s, I'll go for them first. If they're quite high level, I'll just go for the central buildings and hope one of them doesn't counter me. Okay, so right, so they are low level, so I'm just going for these. And this might be a good point to say, show. I'll probably use one to reinforce my centre, and the other ones to start edging forwards. These are all going to be reinforced, so I've got this nice, always this nice setup. So everyone's supported by somebody else. Time. Ooh, that's not good. I try and avoid doing that was a bad play because I actually went from 3 lanes down to 2. So if something has weakened since having 3 lanes, I try and leave it unless it's about to die. There we go. That was a good demo. I keep thinking we'll run out of examples, but we keep getting good ones. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there because this looks quite similar to some of the other ones. Hope this has helped. Well, I'm just going to check whether I've got any Fortress Leader counterattacks to demonstrate. No, none of those. I might have to do that later. Cool. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy. See you later.